All right, can y'all hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. All right, so today and all through the month, I'm going to take you through different modules. This is about getting your vision in place. All right, because one of the reasons we go broke in private practice is because we're short-sighted. So there are going to be some really specific things I'm going to ask you to do. And what I'm doing right now, besides sort of getting to know you, because I really like it that Jessica's here and Carolyn's here, and I've got another, let's see, Jennifer's here. Awesome. I'm so glad you guys are here. I literally have this in a PowerPoint. I have these resources that I can email to you, but you have to email me to get the resources. I'm going to warn you, besides falling phones, you're also probably going to hear my dogs because they tend to bark at everything, including each other. So, number one, I want everyone to clarify. This week is all about clarifying, visioning success. So my story, when I started counseling, when I decided to go back to school to get a PhD, I had a 2-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 12-year-old. So I had to think about, okay, what does success look like for me? And what it looked like was for me to be able to be home when the bus came at 2 o'clock. Because I knew by the time I finished my PhD and started my practice, I was going to have a high schooler. And everybody, hey Kristen, everybody knows that you have to watch your high schooler more than you have to watch your 2-year-old, right? So my goal was I wanted to be in private practice. I did not want to work at night, and I did not want to take insurance. So that was some pretty stiff criteria. In fact, I tell people all the time, hey Rita, hey Kristen, I tell them, well, I don't think I tell them. I do tell them, if anybody had told me how hard this was going to be, I don't know if I would have done it. Right? In fact, I tell the story sometimes. I had a professor come to my office for an observation. They were watching one of the interns, and they said, you're an outlier. This doesn't work. This doesn't happen. Nobody does what you're doing and makes money in private practice. That's not okay. I don't care where you are. I don't care if you're in the greatest demographic on the planet or if you're in rural West Texas. We need you. We need you not to go broke. We need you not to get in trouble and get fired. We need you to not burn out. So I'm going to be looking here and here and here and here because I have a plan for you guys today. I want you to think about who you are, who's your client, what do you want to do. I want you to define success, and I want you to create your vision. Now, everybody watching me right now, you need to have access to some kind of paper, a pen, all right, because we're going to get specific, measurable, trackable, attainable. We're going to talk about SMART goals. I don't want this to just be something that we think about and, oh, that would be great if we do it. No, I want you to hold yourself accountable, and these Thursday 30s are going to be holding yourself accountable. So have you ever been to Office Max and you see they have the 3M paper? It's got the sticky stuff at the top. I want you to get that. I'm lucky enough, I've got 3 whiteboards that I keep up in my office. I've been working on, and you can see behind me, this is sort of my new sales plan for the year. I'm working on how to get new clients. So I'm a very visual person. I have to have this stuff in front of me. I've got a little basket full of all kinds of different colored markers. I have a bedroom that's dedicated to me, and I know a lot of us can't do that. We have to share space with beds and kids and things like that. I used to have a desk in the middle of the living room and a giant set of headphones, and I would sit at my desk with my headphones while my family's watching TV. So you have to have a dry erase board. Make your shopping list right now. I'll wait. All right? Dry erase board, a 30-day calendar at least. You need to carve out your space in the house. Get earbuds, get headphones. 15 years ago, they didn't have earbuds, I don't think. And I actually have to use background music because I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I get these earworms, and I don't care if it's like the 80s music I heard this morning, or, you know, literally I've got like Billy Squier just singing stroke me, and I don't know what that's about, but I have earworms. And so I always have on music in the background to use as concentration music. So who are you? Who is your client? Those of you who've had workshops with me before, you know we talk about our word bank, right? So you thinking to yourself, I am a counselor, I'm a helper, I'm a therapist, and I help people, couples, kiddos, teens who are struggling with or don't get along with each other and are struggling with addiction, infidelity, their peers, family trauma, or cutting. So get real specific about who your client is. And Jennifer, I see that you listen to classical music. That is awesome. Classical music is an amazing thing, and there are all kinds of studies about how that actually fires those neurons and the synapses to get them going. Hey, Deanne. Oh, and there are the dogs. All right, right on cue. So let's think about what the law says, because part of what I'm trying to help you with is not only to let's get all dreamy and think about our practice. I need you to stay legal. Remember our goal, right? I will not go broke. I will not get in trouble. I will not burn out. So as an LPC or an LMFT or social work professional, you can do everything from individual counseling to chemical dependency counseling to sexual issues counseling to career development. Really the only limitations are for LPCs. We can't do projective testing. Now hear me clearly, LPCs, you can do assessments. You can do IQ testing. You can do all the battery of testing that any other professional can do. Sometimes our limitations are simply that insurance won't pay for our services. And we're fighting those things because everyone in this group should also be an advocate. Right? So so what the law says you can do versus what insurance will pay for, sometimes those things are different. So if you have any questions about what you can do, shoot them into the text below, shoot me an email, support@katewalkertraining.com. The way I chose my specialty, I'm a marriage and family therapist in addition to an LPC. So when I hung my shingle in the Woodlands, Texas, my goal was to work with couples, of course, but I had no idea that one of the first clientele I would get were couples surviving infidelity. And so I focused on that. I got trained in that. I gave presentations in that, and I focused my marketing on that. Hey, Megan, good to see you. Good to have you. So having a niche market, you have to remember, and it doesn't hurt to look around at what the free places are doing. So look at the churches, look at places like the United Way. What kind of counseling services are they offering for free? And then don't do that, right? So even if your heart is set on grief counseling, it's really tough to market that if there is a giant free counseling for people suffering with grief in your community. I'm not saying you can't do it. You absolutely can. But what we're doing is I call it backwards planning. I learned it from my husband in the Army. Thank you, go Army. It's the idea that you're thinking from where you want to be, right? The end, Stephen Covey calls it beginning with the end in mind, and that's from the 10 Habits of Highly Effective People. Hey, Sherry, good to have you here. And so beginning with this idea of having a niche market, it's going to help you end up where you want to be. So we'll talk more about that. But as far as the law, LPC, LMFT, and social workers in Texas, there's really no limitation to what you can do, right? Except for LPCs, y'all can't do the old Rorschach ink blot stuff, okay? LMFT is really funny to me because they actually add this clause called other. Like in the law, it says, actually it also refers to life coaching. So if you're adding life coaching to your practice, wonderful, awesome. But don't think that you can act outside of your license, right? We can't take our license out of our pocket and stick it in a drawer and say, you know, hey, I'm a coach now, and then do whatever we want. You can't do that. So if you have questions, by the way, y'all can throw them into the text. I'm happy to answer it. I'm really fired up about all the new laws that we have in Texas, LPC, LMFT psychologists and social workers. Tons of new stuff going on. That's for another consultation. If there are any supervisors in this group, y'all might want to get plugged into the Texas Supervisor Training Group. We have consultation all the time on the law. All right, so let's go back to what does success mean to you? So for me, success means I can take a vacation every once in a while. I like to travel. I like to go. If you follow me on my Instagram, I just got back from Colorado. I love to hike. I love to go see new places and do new things. Successful means to me retiring. Y'all, I don't want to do this when I'm 90 years old. I mean, I probably could, but I don't want to. And I don't know how many of y'all don't want to do this when you're 90 either. There's a whole demographic, and I see that most of us are females watching this. There's a whole demographic of females over 60 who are living in poverty, and for various reasons. Either they're widows, or they were terminated, they didn't have the skills to transition to a new profession. And so for therapists, that's a huge problem. 65, all right, I'll buy that, 65. There's a fabulous book, and if you guys have your pens handy, I'm always going to shoot out books that I love reading. One is called, and I'm a big fan, it's by Tim Ferriss, and it's called The 4-Hour Work Week. The 4-Hour Work Week was a game changer for me because it helped me really start to prioritize my time and see that I could start having a life that looked more like retirement. Again, that's probably just another Thursday 30 we can talk about, but I have 2 adult kids now and they don't live in town, so I like to visit them. A lot of my practice is now transitioning to video, and I'm only in the office 2 days a week now. So that was number 3, actually spending time with my kids. That's what success means to me. My daughter moves into an apartment in Denton. I'm able to go and help her move, do her laundry. And so it's important to talk about, and I will be talking about, multiple streams of income. We're in a weird profession. We are kind of like DoorDash and Uber drivers and Uber Eats. You know, if we don't work, we don't make money. So that means we're not allowed to get sick. Our kids aren't allowed to get sick. We're not allowed to have anything traumatic happen in our lives because that would affect us emotionally, and then we can't really help our clients. So that's not okay. Remember our rule. We will not burn out. That's our rule for our group, okay? So you have to have multiple streams of income, not because you want a Bentley in the garage. It's not a bad thing. It's an awesome thing. But because you would like to stay home with your kids if they have a fever. You would like to stay home if you have a fever. I think your clients would appreciate that too. If we could all raise our hands, how many of us belong to groups where people talk about going to work sick? Or I just saw one this morning where somebody's parents had died, and they're asking, how do I keep going to work with after having just buried my parents? Not okay, right? So multiple streams of income, that's something else we'll talk about in this group. All right, so let's talk about 2 types of practices. You may be in just kind of a one-stop shop, just you solo. That's what I've moved to. I don't have anybody else in my practice with me, to more of like kind of lots of people, lots of interns. If you're watching this and you're trying to move from an agency or a hospital setting into private practice, you're definitely going to want to hang around more, because that's exactly what I think a lot of us want to do. That's what I wanted to do, and that's how I made this. So one-stop shop, you probably are going to be high volume. So seeing 25 to 30 clients a week. You'll probably take insurance. Insurance is awesome, gets you going. It's a reliable pay. I think it's a reliable payout. Unfortunately, with a high volume shop, you're going to be working afternoons, evenings, maybe even weekends. The good news is if you take insurance, there's less marketing, right? Because your insurance company, that's part of the deal. They're supposed to get you clients. With kind of the smaller or boutique therapy or your practice, you might move more towards cash. If you don't need the high volume, I love it. My sweet spot is 17 clients a week. And that's, 17 clients, that turns out to be about 20 hours. So, the idea is you can work when you want, you can specialize in things you love. And the downside, and that's again what these 30/30s are going to be a lot about, is how to market and how to market effectively. Y'all sitting and working on your website for another 30 minutes today isn't going to get you another client necessarily. All right. And so we will talk about how to make sure you increase your client load this week. Jennifer says 10 is ideal. Yep. I like 10 too. But we have to backwards plan from our budget, right? And so whatever your budget is. Hey, Marianne, good to see you too. Hey, Bridget, glad you're here. Hey, Eliza, glad to see you. Let's talk about then where do you want to see yourself in 5 years, right? So do you see yourself in private practice full-time? Do you see yourself at an agency full-time? Do you see yourself working 2 days a week? Do you see yourself taking fabulous trips? Do you see yourself working online? Those of you who don't know, the laws changed this year, so there are no limits really on technology. It takes a little homework because you need to see what other states allow. But you can really start moving to an online practice, and there's some great online Facebook groups where they talk more about how to develop your online counseling practice. So everybody think in 5 years, and this is going on your vision board, right? Or your whiteboard or whatever you're using in your beautiful space that you've carved out in your home, and you've got your earbuds in so you can't hear your kids because they're hungry, or your partner saying that they miss you. Hey, Melissa, in 5 years, I will be a therapist in private practice. My favorite type of marketing will be, think about what really calls to you. Are you an extrovert? Are you an introvert? I don't care. You need to get out, and you're going to have to talk to people, and we'll talk more about that. Do you want to be high volume, low volume? Do you want to take insurance, some insurance? Do you want to be full-time? Do you want to stop before 5 o'clock? Do you only want to work after 5? Do you want to work on Saturdays, weekends, no weekends? Do you want to be a generalist? Do you want to have a niche? It's really important that you answer all of those questions with a number. Your brain is a funny thing. It's a very practical thing. So once you put a number in front of your eyeballs, and you say, okay, you know what, this is my monetary goal for this year. This is my client load goal for this year. And your brain sees that. You start working towards that, and you don't even realize it. And so it's really, really important to have this in front of you at all times. Remember, this Thursday 30 is all about visioning. And I believe, honestly, in putting it in as many places as I can. I listen to podcasts, I read Audible books, I read, paper books. I do things like this. I surround myself with awesome people like you guys. So I'm constantly getting filled with this idea of success. Remember, it doesn't have to be a Bentley in the garage. It can be, and if you get one, call me because I'd love to go on a ride in it. But it doesn't have to be. Success is very personal. So don't write down what you think someone else thinks is success. Write down what you feel is success. Again, we're talking about vacations, retirement, spending time with your kids, part-time practice, full-time practice, cash, insurance. Hey, Laura, good to see you. So your SMART goal. Remember, SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and I really hate that term. I think any goal is realistic, and trackable. Trackable is the key, and that's why we focus on numbers. So here's an example. A dream would be, I want to be in private practice someday. That's great. Not going to get you anywhere. A SMART goal is I will have 5 direct client hours my first month, 10 hours a week my second month, and 60 hours per month by the end of my first year, right? And so when you do the math, imagine if you charged $200 an hour, 5 hours a week your first month, right? 10 hours a week, and then finally 60 hours a month, right? So if you so right now think about backwards planning. $200 times 60 hours a month times 12. I don't know who has a calculator out there. Somebody do the math for me. That's what you write down on your vision board. You don't have to charge $200 an hour. Put $100 an hour. Put what, if you're going to take insurance, put around $80 to $90 an hour. But start with that 60 hours a month if that's your goal. If it's 80 hours a month, if you want to see 20 clients a week, every week, that's awesome. Put about 80 hours a month. Multiply that by 12 and write it on your whiteboard. Okay? Then we'll work backwards. Here's a dream. I made sure to leave my mornings free for marketing. Yeah, no, you didn't. Because if you have anyone in your life, including yourself, you'll figure out how to miss and lose that time. So instead, a SMART goal would be, I'm going to make 5 cold calls on Monday. I will follow up on Tuesday with the 5 calls I made last week. On Wednesday, I'm going to upload my blog and link it to Facebook. Thursday, I'm going to meet Mr. Smith at the Rotary Club. And Friday, I'm going to have coffee with Mr. Jones with the Depression Support Group. Right? Those are the things you write on your whiteboard. You make appointments as they happen, and that occupies your time. If it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. I'm going to say it again. If it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. That comes from my grocery list. I used to tell my kids, if it's not on the list, it doesn't exist, right? So I didn't get your Oreos, and you didn't put it on the list. That's how our brain works. Hey, Kelly, good to see you. Another dream. I definitely want to be cash only. Insurance is too much of a hassle. Yeah, okay, good dream. SMART goal. I will get on 3 of the best paying insurance panels until my client load reaches 20 clients or 60 hours a month. Each month following this, I will get off 1 panel and have at least 5 cash pay intakes until I reach 60 hours per month cash pay at my desired hourly rate. All right, you want me to say that one again? Because I went fast. Let me do it. I will get on 3 of the best paying insurance panels until my client load reaches 20 clients or 60 clients or 60 direct hours per month. Each month following that, I'll get off of 1 panel, have at least 5 cash pay intakes until I reach 60 hours per month cash pay at my desired rate. Now that doesn't have to be everybody's dream, all right? Oh wow, we've got more people. Boani and Linda, hey, good to see you. Did I ever say hi to Kelly? Kelly, I'm glad you're here. So this doesn't have to be your dream. I'm literally just reading from a PowerPoint slide, right? I'm making this up. But if your dream is to get off of insurance panels, but you're starting from ground zero, sometimes insurance panels are a great way to get started. Are you afraid to say, I want to make $100 an hour? Well, if you don't say it, nobody else will. Okay? So 60 direct hours a month at $100 an hour. And yes, I do. You guys realize I'm talking a lot about money today? Right? That's how people make a living. And that's how people eventually are able to support their dreams, put their kids through college, retire, have vacations, grieve when their parents die, take a sick day, right? Unless we start working out our issues with money, then all of that stuff gets pushed aside. And then we start breaking our rules about going broke, breaking rules, and burning out. Because we said we wouldn't do that. All right, I have 3 minutes left. So here's your homework. All right, everybody got your pen? I encourage you to, I want you to read a chapter out of one of these books every day. Some of them are free and some aren't. And some of them are really old-fashioned-y, but they're good. One is called The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino. I was actually given this book to read in an Al-Anon group focused on parents with addicted teens. There's a chapter in there that is absolutely magnificent because it talks about how you are worthy. All right? You are worthy to have all of these things, all of these good things. All right? You are too important for us to lose. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Yes, I love this book because so many of us are introverts. I mean, the book says things like make eye contact when you greet somebody in a hallway, shake hands firmly, talk, 3 things that you can say to engage people. It's a great book. Another one is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, another old-timey writer who does a magnificent job of destroying your negative beliefs about money. The Power of Positive Thinking and Thought Conditioners by Norman Vincent Peale. This is from a Christian perspective, and so for those of you who are looking for verses or things that to help lift you up, there are also books that I use from Eastern religions. So anything that, I don't want to make this Thursday 30 any particular religion, but just know there's a higher power and you're not it. So, and I learned that at Al-Anon. So some of my books definitely have a perspective of a higher power, something that we can tap into to give us strength, to give us vision, to give us focus. So if you're going to participate, get used to that. The Science of Getting Rich by another old-timey guy, Wallace Wattles. And probably my all-time favorite, Financial Peace University from Dave Ramsey. Okay, we are at the end. So no matter what kind of practice you have, you must think full-time to have part-time success. Counseling is only part of what you do. There's stuff you can purchase, but you don't have to spend a lot of money on this. Just do something. And remember, counselors don't quit, all right? We cannot quit. We're too important. Counselors don't quit. I will see you guys next Thursday, and I'm going to talk to you about more specific things. I think next week we talk about getting rid of barriers. Okay, so think about the barriers you have. Set up your beautiful space. Get your 3M paper. Read your books. Put your podcasts in. Put your Audible books in, and I will see you next week. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. See ya. Hey everybody, I'm getting started a little bit late today. Gonna double check, just make sure I'm actually posting. Hey, yeah, there I am. All right, good deal. All right, so my hair is still wet, but yeah, I'm here in Magnolia, Texas, and I'm going to talk to you guys today about how to backwards plan. One of the biggest barriers we talked about, or we haven't talked about it yet, but one of the biggest barriers I've found to being successful in private practice is we just get overwhelmed, right? We set way too many goals, way too many things to do. Hey, Carolyn, good to see you. And so it's not easy because we maybe hear our partners or we read a book and we think that we should just do every single thing, and then we get overwhelmed and we quit, right? Because it's just too easy to get on social media, not really give ourselves that gentle nudge to get to doing what we think we should do. Or my favorite, we just cater to our comfort zone. So as introverted counselors, we enjoy kind of staying in our beautiful home office and doing things on our computer. And we don't really, if a client doesn't show up, we don't necessarily take the time to use it for marketing, or we market in a way that really doesn't get us any new clients. So today it's all about how to backwards plan your BBGs or badass business goals. All right. So, hey, good to see you, Kata. Now, badass business goals don't have to be huge. Remember last time I talked to you guys, we made this checklist. And so the checklist was find a beautiful space in your home that can just be yours. It can be your home office. We talked about a checklist that included getting a whiteboard. And I showed you guys, if I can do this without dropping my phone, you see that I have my walls kind of lined with whiteboards. I think with my hands, and so I'm constantly drawing, erasing. Hey, Solangel, good to see you. So having a space with, or the giant 3M paper, just something that you can write on, erase, and get something new up. So this week, and I'm going to refer to my notes because that's what I do, you've got to do a checklist, right? So how much have you done from last week? So did you download a couple of ebooks? Did you get them into your Audible and have them in your earbuds? Did you find some affirmations? Are you saying things at night right before you go to bed that are readjusting your ideas about money and success and owning a practice? Hey, Nessie, good to see you. So this week, we're going to talk about, I want you to think of 3 possible goals. All right. So it can be a goal, something like, I'm going to have 60 direct hours of cash pay clients. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to have a weekly blog that I talk about my specialty and my practice. So, thinking about your idea for adding to your practice. Now, I always talk about 60 direct hours because remember, we always start from a place of what you need to feel successful. So that's your dollar amount, right? If you want a Bentley in the garage, or if you just want to be able to take the day off because you have the flu, right? You've got to have something put back in a bank account. And so with 60 direct hours at $100 an hour, right? That's $6,000 a month. And so if you think about that $72,000 a year, please check my math, 6 times 12, or is that 5 times 12? Anyway, y'all check me out on that. But you have to think in terms of what you want your yearly salary to be, then add in your car payment, your house payment, what it takes to put your kids in college, put aside things for like taxes, rainy day fund. So that's your baseline. That's what you need to feel like you're having a successful career and not just an expensive hobby. All right, so we're adding things now like a podcast, or putting the number up there, 60 direct hours this month, cash pay. Now, once you kind of sift through those, and I don't care if you have 100, I just want you to write down 3, right? And you'll understand why in a little bit. 3 goals, all right? Then we're going to do something that I learned from my dear husband called backwards planning. And this is what the military teaches regarding, making decisions or making your dreams come true. You start with the goal. So whenever you see my stuff, if you ever purchase anything on Kate Walker Training that has to do with private practice, you're always going to see that I start with the biggest number and it ends with number 1. Number 1 is always your finished project or product or whatever it is that you say, right? So we're going to backwards plan one of your goals. So I love word prompts because I think we think in narratives. What I want you to think about is, let's say, just for example, you're going to write a book, you're going to sign a lease agreement, you're going to form an LLC. Let's say those are your 3 goals, all right? So you would write those down, and then you're going to think to yourself, at the end of 2 months, I'm going to have organized the chapters of my new book, and I'm busy writing as a part of my work as a counselor author. Second goal, I've signed a lease agreement on a beautiful office space and I'm moving in next month. Third goal, I have my LLC paperwork turned in, it's mailed away, and now I'm just working on my paperwork. There. I had to think on the fly there. All right, so you'll say to yourself, I'm writing my next book as a part of my work as an author counselor. I just signed a lease agreement on my most beautiful office space, and I've already chosen a lot of the furnishings. My LLC paperwork wasn't as hard as I thought, so I got it mailed away quickly. So now I'm working on blank while I wait on my EIN or tax ID. I'm excited because I know I've made good decisions that will bring me happiness and success. And we've already defined that, right? We defined it last week, what happiness and success literally mean to you, right? Healthy kids, healthy you, healthy life. Now, that's what I want you to do this week. You're going to write down 3 goals and you're going to turn it into a narrative and you're going to put it in the present tense like it's already happened, right? I have turned in my LLC. I do have the paperwork completed. I am working on, okay? Now, I want you to feel, and this is the counselor part, right? I want you to start thinking about how it feels when you think about those goals. So do you feel something kind of here in your throat, or do you feel it like here in your chest or in your stomach? Do you get a little nauseous? I want you to take these goals, and I've even told people to fold them up and put them under your pillow, because you really need to find, and this is really the secret, guys, I'm not even kidding. You need to find the one goal that resonates, right? That doesn't make you nauseous, that doesn't make you have a panic attack. Because what happens is your body is really, really practical, and it's only going to do the things that it's excited about, right? So one of the things that I do when I'm trying to get psyched up to do something that I'm not real excited about, like let's say I'm getting my social media calendar for the month, right? I'm not real fired up about it. I'm just dreading it, and it's not something that I want to do, and I ask for help, and I think about where I see myself in 5 years. So for me, I'm sitting in a coffee shop in a place I've never been, Portland. I've never been to Portland. Thought it'd be cool to go. I'm sitting there. It's a beautiful day. I'm reading my book. I'm drinking my coffee. I'm just really enjoying my life, maybe on my way to go visit my kids, and maybe my husband is in our RV down the street. I really start thinking about what my end goal is, and it's very visual, and I can smell the coffee and I can feel the sun. I think in terms of my end goal. Remember, we're backwards planning. We're backwards planning from what we already dreamed that we wanted to happen to today, all right? And I apologize because you're about to hear all my dogs rush in the room because they love me so, so much they have to be near me. There's one. All right, now, after you've done your somatic experiencing, right, here, 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 you're going to pick one goal, and you're going to write that goal down, all right? Now, recently I wrote a book called My Next Steps, Create a Counseling Career You'll Love. And I put off writing that book for about, 100 years, right? I'm older than I look. And when I finally broke down and I got someone to help me. The first thing she said was take Post-it notes, write a 1, next Post-it note, write a 2, next Post-it note, write a 3, right? And she said, how many chapters do you want? I said, 10, I guess. So I wrote down 10 Post-it notes. And then under each Post-it note, I wrote a topic that I wanted for that chapter, right? All on my wall. Then under that Post-it note, I wrote bullets that I wanted to cover. Then under that Post-it note, and so on and on and on. And finally, she said, go into your computer and find what you've already written about these things. And then we put the Post-it notes on a table, and I just started stacking paper onto each of those Post-it notes. So as I look at that and I backwards plan a book, right, if that's your ideas that you want to write a book, then you start with, okay, well, chapter numbers. That's pretty easy. So my 8th step would be chapter numbers, and then I work my way backwards, okay? Let's talk about 60 clients a month. A lot of people ask me, how do I get 60 clients a month? How do I turn into a cash pay practice, right? So if I had to choose, like if that's your goal, right? If you're going to say in 2 months, I want 60 direct hours of a cash pay practice, then what is the very first thing you need to do today that would lead to a cash pay practice, right? And if you're already on an insurance panel, maybe step 8 would be get off of one panel, right? Step 7 would be to write up a 30-second commercial. Now, a 30-second commercial is sometimes called an elevator speech, and everybody should have one, but it's a way to tell people quickly about what it is that you do and how they can reach you, and then you tell them one more time what it is that you do. And you do it it's supposed to, right? It got the name because that's about how long we're in an elevator is 30 seconds. I don't know. Anyway, it's just called an elevator speech. So that's step 7, make your elevator speech. Step 6 would be something, let's talk about maybe a script when you do your phone consultations, right? How do you help people who are potential clients become your actual clients on a cash pay basis, right? When you answer the phone, hi, tell me a little bit about what's going on. Great, let me tell you how I can help. Here's what you can expect from your first 3 sessions. And I'm gonna need a little information. Do you have any questions for me? Great, I'm just gonna need your credit card number before I schedule your session. I'm not gonna hold funds, I'm not gonna charge your card. Right, so a good phone script, that could be step 7, right? What are we on now? 6, 8, 7, 6. Step 5 can be researching business networking groups around town. If you're in a small town, the Chamber of Commerce, parent-teacher organizations. If you're in a big city, big chambers of commerce, business networking international groups, there may be several chapters. And you can usually visit those things at least twice before they try to charge you. So when you visit those places, you can stand up, you can give your elevator speech, you're all ready to go. Let's see, what's another step? I've lost count, so I'm just going to throw one out there. Scheduling software, right? How are these people going to find you? Are you just going to be looking at your phone at the end of the day and going, oh my gosh, I have 82 messages, and then you're going to take time away from your family to play phone tag? No, not efficient, not joyful, certainly not leading to your share at your coffee shop of your dreams. So one of the things you can do, there's some amazing scheduling software out there. All right. And you get the scheduling software. I'm checking my time because I have a client at 10 a.m. I know you guys have to get back to work too. Scheduling software, you don't just have to schedule a 1-hour appointment. Right? You can always schedule a free 10 to 15 minute consultation. So your clients can go to your website, they see a giant button that says schedule here, click the button, or you can even be super smart and put on the button, schedule the 10-minute consultation, right? Oh, we got some more people. Awesome. Hey, Mark. Hey, Brandy. Hey, Amber. Hey, Laura. Laura, you know all this stuff because you were my intern. So, hey, rinse, repeat. Here we go. The more you hear it, the more you can do it. I literally, when I'm talking about the scheduling button, and if those of you who've heard me talk have heard this story, I would go to meetings and have everybody grab their phone and find my website, and the button was huge. It still is. If you go to achievebalance.org, you can see the big orange button that says schedule. And I would say, everybody find the button. Now, I wouldn't sell counseling services. That's what's so crazy. I would sell information. I would say, you know what, everybody in this room can think of someone who needs counseling. Now, imagine if you could tell that person to click the orange button at achievebalance.org. And I would even make the room repeat it back to me. What are you going to do? We're going to click the orange button. What are you going to tell your friends? Click the orange button. So I became a resource for the community, not just a therapist. So when you click the orange button, you could schedule a 10-minute consultation with me. You scheduled a 10-minute consultation with me. I had my handy dandy phone script ready to go. I go through the phone script. I try to help people understand what they're getting from counseling. I don't promise cures. I just help them understand what counseling is and what they can expect. And then I secure their appointment with their credit card information after I've told them the cost. Now, what is this all taken, right? So you've backward planned 60 direct hours per month at $100 an hour, right? So backwards plan, how many does that mean a week? Does that mean you're going to see clients at 7 in the morning and 5 in the afternoon? Because that sucks, right? You want to sit in an empty office all day? I don't, right? Especially if you have kids, if you have things that you need to do. So one of the things, and besides, remember our mantra, things that suck make you want to quit, right? And everybody see that? Yeah, this is what's going on here. You are too important to quit the profession. You are too important to get bored and discouraged and give up because you created way too many goals and then you got totally frustrated because you didn't accomplish all of them, right? We're doing one goal at a time. It's like when my daughter plays volleyball and they're behind. We yell, okay, everybody, 1 point at a time. All right, so 60 clients a month, maybe goal number, what are we on, 4, is 3 cash pay clients this month per week. Then, no, I don't even like that goal. That's too low. I really think that if you guys think about this, if you decided to do the scheduling software, that you could make a goal of 30 10-minute consultations. Now, the trade-off is, your counseling's going to take a hit because depending on your counseling or your scheduling software, a 10-minute consultation might kill an hour. It might kill 30 minutes. But let's imagine if you said, okay, my goal is 30 10-minute consultations this month. I have this badass script. I'm going to help my clients understand what they're going to get when they purchase counseling from me. So what if I could make that conversion rate about, 30%? So 30% of those 10-minute phone calls I turn into clients. And I don't think of my sessions as one session, really, right? Because to get to know me and to really understand how I can help you, I've got an initial session where I'm going to ask a ton of questions. I'm going to give you some directions. I'm going to help you see where and how and if I can help. If we all agree to go forward, then I'll give you some homework. You come back at the second session and we'll course correct based on what you found out. And so really by the third session, you're going to know if working with me is going to be a good fit. So from that very initial phone call, I've actually got my clients thinking in terms of 3 sessions. That's not because I'm greedy. That's not because I want my Bentley. That's because I know how I do my best work. And I know how my client will, because I've done this a while, process the information, build rapport with me, trust me, and trust me enough with their story. Okay? So when you think of, okay, I'm going to not sell really, 10-minute consultations, I'm going to aim for 30 a month, and I'm going to try to get that conversion rate to 30%. And I'm going to really play with my script so that I can make that conversion rate higher, right? Now you have this goal where you're suddenly, now you have 30 cash paying clients a month, and you have 40 cash paying clients a month, and then finally 50. I don't mean clients, I mean direct hours. I always get that confused. 30 direct hours, 40 direct hours, 50, 60 direct hours. Now, I'm watching the screen here. We've got about 4 minutes left. If you want to throw a question up, I'm happy to answer it. I don't really have a PowerPoint for this Thursday 30. I'm looking at some notes here, but they're really just kind of notes that I made for myself. The main thing I made was coffee, so I have my coffee. Does anybody have questions that they want to throw up onto the board here? Okay, well then I will tell you questions that I get asked a lot. Can you store credit card numbers? I get that question a lot. It just depends. It depends on your software. It depends on the laws in your state. I also get asked, well, what about credit card fees? Can I sort of increase the price to make up for that fee? Again, it depends on your state. I've only seen gas stations do that, right? They give that little discount for cash. I know it's actually illegal in a lot of states. For me, a credit card number secures the time, and it's a mental bookmark for my clients. I don't teach, I don't believe, my interns know, my former interns know, that I don't believe a client is your client until they've signed the paperwork. Now, ethically, I treat them that way because from the first phone call, I'm going to protect their protected health information, their identity, everything like that. But as far as becoming an established client, remember LPC and LMFT rules talk about the service agreement or the consent to treat. So until a client has actually signed that with you, you're not really counseling them, right? So now lots of people think differently. Lots of people do charge for missed first appointments. I just don't do that. So even though I've got their credit card information on file, I don't charge that until they've actually come to see me and we've signed paperwork and they feel comfortable and everybody is good to go. And then we can use it and keep it on file so they don't have to go by the front desk as they leave, right? They can actually go out the back door. And you know, those of us who do couple and family counseling, that's very handy because we don't want them passing people in the waiting room on their way out. So let me see. Okay. I need to finish up. Let me make sure I covered everything I wanted to cover. So we're talking about, last time anyway, defining success, right? Whether it's being able to go visit your grown kids and grandkids, plan for a sick day for yourself, take care of aging parents, retire someday, or have a Bentley in the garage. You guys decide how success looks and then give it a number. Give it a numerical number that you can see. Put it on your whiteboard, your 3M paper, so that you understand what that is and what you're working toward. Okay? Then, now this week we're talking about setting. Right, can you see that? Nope. There. Backwards planning your badass business goals. We started off with 3 just to see which ones made us sick and which ones we really liked. And then we pick one and only one. We work on one goal at a time. So pick one. I've talked about lots. I've talked about 60 clients a month. I've talked about an elevator speech. I've talked about talking to networking groups. I've talked about scheduling software and the big orange button. I think this Facebook Live stays on our closed Badass Business page for quite a while, so you can always go back and refer to it. If you need to contact me, if you'd like to contact me, you can always email me at support@katewalkertraining.com, or you can go to my website, katewalkertraining.com. Any other questions? If anybody needs anything else, I'm here in Magnolia, and I'm getting ready to do some telehealth with my next client. I hope you guys all have an amazing day, and I will see you. Oh, Thursday 30 is canceled next week because I'm going to be in Vegas. My husband and I are going to go see Willie Nelson I think he's at the Bellagio. So excited. So that's one of the ways I define success. I get to go see Willie Nelson in Las Vegas. So I will actually see you guys in 2 weeks. All right? Have a great day. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Thursday 30, and I'm sorry I missed everybody last week. Well, sorry, not sorry, because I was actually in Las Vegas seeing Willie Nelson, and it was amazing, bucket list, awesome. So let me just double check that I'm actually showing up in real time. Yep, I am. All right, so let's get started. All right, Thursday 30, what is it? It's 30 minutes out of your day to help you make more money in your private practice. I'm going to turn down the light a little bit because that was bright. 30 minutes because I know you have to get back to your day. Also remember, and you know this if you're watching this, this video will actually post and save, so you'll be able to watch it later if you want to. So we have been talking this month, this is the last day of October, how to backwards plan your badass business goals, which is an amazing thing unless you don't have any. So what we're talking about in November are really barriers to those goals. So if I stop a second, hey Nessie, hey Katrina, good to see you guys. If you haven't thought of a goal, you need to probably step back a little. Think in terms of things that are doable. So let's just take your practice, right? You know you want to practice, but do you have a DBA? You know you want to practice, but Have you started producing your paperwork with your letterhead on it? Do you have your logo yet? Those simple things are going to help you move along. Now, today I'm going to talk about some things that are scary, and that's when the barriers usually go up, right? Because I've talked about before, and I apologize if you hear grunting. That is my Bella, my dog's on the floor, and she doesn't like it when I talk. So if she had it her way, I would be quiet all the time and rub her belly. But that's not happening right now. So if I look over here at scary goals. So counselor introverts, what do we love to do? Well, we love to build our website. We love to design our logo. We love to go to Vistaprint and order super cool business cards that people don't really pick up, right? They look at them and then they throw them down. Or what I like to do is somebody hands me a business card, I take a picture of it. Or I'll, when they turn away, I'll take a picture of it. But I don't keep paper anymore. I've tried to become completely paperless because paper kills trees. So let's see. There's some things that I recommend right from the very start when we do these programs. I read a chapter every day from super awesome ebooks like by Napoleon Hill or Dale Carnegie, books that teach you how to interact with others and make more money. I see my vision board. Remember last month we talked about vision boards. You should have your vision board ahead of you and in front of you all the time. You guys know, and if I can not drop my phone, I'm a fan of whiteboards. So I have whiteboards all across the back wall of my office because I think with my hands, I've got to stand up and draw it. I've got to see it. You have to have affirmations. Affirmations like, I am good with money. Money is my friend. Money is a tool. It's not the root of all evil. If I have money, then I can also spend money, which helps other people. I can donate to causes. So money is a good thing. And then, of course, from last month, we talk about backwards planning that goal. So literally getting a calendar, like a paper calendar, or like my whiteboard concept. I will start with the goal and then put a date next to the items that I need to do to complete it, right? See, who else do we have? We got Jessica, we've got Dee, we've got, hey, good morning. Glad you guys are here. So let's look at fears, because November is all about breaking barriers. Now, let me tell you a little bit about me. I truly, truly believe that what you speak out into this amazing universe that we live in will go to create your environment. If you've heard me talk, you've heard me stop people and say, hey, look, don't speak that kind of negativity into my universe. I believe what you speak will manifest. Now, that's not woo-woo. That's not like new agey. I believe in a higher power. I believe that there's a higher power who loves us. I believe that what you speak, you can make happen. It's the same thing we teach our clients. What is your narrative? I am a success. Of course I'm great with money. Time is no problem for me. I manage my time beautifully. I am incredibly organized. Even if none of those things are true right now, those are the affirmations that you need to put out there. So when we talk about fears, I'm going to give you some challenges this month. Here's one. I want you to think about Googling 10 people who do what it is that you want to do. I'm not talking about counseling. I'm talking about successful people who are living where you want to live, doing what you want to do, managing what you want to manage. So counseling, it's part of who you are, but it's not all of who you are. Hey, Shauna, good to see you. Oh, Bonna, sorry, didn't have my glasses on. Good to see you. So 10 people who are doing what you want to do. They can be speakers, they can be authors, they can be teachers, professors, you name it. You make a list, you write down 3 things about them or their job that get you excited. So if it's a professor at a university, go and you Google them and you think, okay, what are they doing that I would love to do, right? Now, here's the scary part. Contact them. Some of these folks, if they're celebrities, they're going to be hard to contact, right? If they're people who are on a lecture circuit or an author circuit, or they're just coming to your town because they're doing an author signing, right? They're going to be hard to get in touch with, but they all have blogs. They all have newsletters. They all have ways that you can reach out and start to get to know them, right? Kind of like you've done with Badass Business, right? You're getting in touch with people who do what you want to do. Now, when you contact, by the way, I've got to tell you, I'm reading directly from this course that I just added, my DIY mentoring program. DIY mentoring program is something that I have been sort of hesitant to put out there for a while. But I've been asked by so many people, okay, what do you have? What do you have for as a course for people interested in private practice? So I put something together. Hey Dee, good to see you. So I've got, let's see, I'm literally reading from this course. So where does the person who does what you want to do hang out? Where do people like him or her hang out? Most places will let you buy coffee, do a test drive, or get a visitor's pass. Here's the thing, spending a day in your ideal person's shoes, even if you don't know them. So this is also the exercise that you can do as you're trying to identify your ideal client. If you haven't done the ideal client exercise, this is very similar. So I'm kind of talking in two parts, right? Part one is thinking about the ideal person. What do they do that you want to do? Where do they hang out? What do they drive? What kind of coffee do they drink? Where do they drink that coffee? And then you can also kind of bridge this over into an ideal client exercise as you're trying to think about who your ideal client is. Where do they work? Where do they hang out? Where do they take their pet for grooming, right? Those kinds of things. This will help you sort of live in the shoes of part one, the person or the ideal that you want to be. In part two, we can bridge this over to an ideal client exercise. Where does your ideal client hang out? So we talk about, and thank you, Adler, we're going to now talk about an as-if exercise. So maybe your fear is you're great at starting things, but you don't finish them, all right? I don't know how many of you struggle with that, right? This is related to self-sabotage, analysis paralysis. You've got all of these great ideas. They're all swimming around your head, and you just don't finish anything. And sometimes, if we're going to be really honest, you have a ton of ideas that are really, really hard. And so it's almost self-defeating, right? You're trying to do too much, and there's no way anybody can do any of that. So the living as if exercise makes you do at least one or two small things. Because remember, that's what this month is about. That's what this week is about. We talked about the first one, your first fear. If you're too shy or you're an introvert, the first challenge is to go out and try to meet someone, identify someone you want to be like. The second fear, you're great at starting, but you don't finish. So I'm going to challenge you to get a DBA. DBA will cost you $10. If you haven't done that yet, go get one. Start your social media professional account. If you don't have a practice yet, if you don't have a name for your practice, so what? You can get a free social media account. You can start it today. You can post things like photos of your workspace or the building where you'd love to work. You can post quotes and inspiration. You can even put, if you're really daring, you can post the day that you're going to open for business, or you can post the day that you're going to do your first CE course. You can post the day that you're going to offer your first Gottman training to the community, right? Getting your first social media post and putting things out there, creating events, providing resources. Get a Stripe, get a PayPal, get a Square account. If you're in the very beginning stages of your business and you're still stuck on, something huge like I've got to go purchase a building, step back. Have you gotten your PayPal account? Have you gotten your Stripe account? Have you applied for a merchant services account? Those things don't just happen today. They may take a couple of hours. They may take overnight. They may take a week. But getting a Stripe, a PayPal account, something like that, that will get you started. You'll actually have something with your name on it. Oh no, I got this. I like this one. Clean up your act. If you are still living like a poor college student, right? I get that. I respect that. But if you are visualizing success, if you are wanting to have a business that is cash pay, if you are wanting to have, remember when we defined success a few weeks ago, take a day off, retire someday, be home when your kids get off the school bus, never work after 5, never work on a Saturday, right? So that means you are going to have clients who are going to pay your fee. And if you are still dressing and looking kind of like I do today, like the poor college student, right? This is my home clothes. That's something that you'll project out. Now, I'm not saying to go, to Michael Kors and Gucci and go clean them out. But when you clean up your act, when you clean up your office space, when you look around and and remember that beautiful space that you've designated in your home that's yours, when you clean that up, when you get yourself organized, that will project, that will translate into what people see, right? Hey, Leanne, good to see you. Thanks for coming today. What's something else? All right. This is one of my favorites. Start ghosting toxic people, right? So we're breaking barriers this month. One of your barriers, if we're going to be honest, and I don't have a mirror here, I'd look in it and I would say the same thing. You've got to keep toxic people out of your life. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're, a therapist. So that means you are spending 20 waking hours, maybe more, maybe less, with people who have problems. Now, as a therapist, you're an empath, right? That means your volume is on high. You are taking in these emotions, right? People are giving you things. You're creating this safe space, right? And then, it's possible that you're not the greatest at self-care, right? So that means you carry a lot of this home with you, okay? Hey, Amitria, good to see you. Thanks for joining. If you're carrying this stuff home and then you get on the phone, nobody talks on the phone anymore, start texting your friend, or your neighbor comes over, or your partner walks in and they start dumping on you too, that's not good, right? You know that you will carry that around with you as well. If you're serious about breaking barriers this month, if you're serious about really taking your business to the next level, whatever that is, even if it means you're just starting, ghosting toxic people. You notice I'm using the word ghosting, right? Because we're introverts. I don't expect you to have a big confrontational conversation. It's kind of like what we tell our clients. What's easiest for you? So just be less available, right? Ghosting toxic people. What else do I have here? Start living like you're already doing your dream job. Most people I know who own their own business work on Saturdays and Sundays. If they have a family, they work before their family wakes up. They usually pick either one side of the day, either morning or afternoon, late evening, not both. Please don't do both. That's not good for you. But if you started living as if, right? Thank you, Adler. Then perhaps you want to go ahead and start scheduling your day and your week as if you were already running that successful business of your dreams. Now, I'm going to see if I put it in here. Oh yeah, I did have a caveat here. Please don't ghost your loved ones or sick people, right? People who need you, right? That's why we have life, right? We have families, we have friends, we have loved ones. Don't ghost them. All right, so what are the fears we're talking about today? We're doing good on time. So fear number 1, I'm too shy. I'm an introvert. Fear number 2, I'm great at starting, but I fail to finish. Fear number 3, it's too expensive. This is also related to procrastination and time wasting. So what does it really cost exercise? I want you this month to make a budget, like a real budget. So a cell phone, an office, scheduling software, visits to chambers of commerce, and your amazing phone script. So with those, how many things was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So with those 5 things, I'm going to say them again. Ready? A cell phone, a dedicated office. And I know people are doing walk around therapy, so maybe you don't even need an office. Hey, Shells. Hey, Donna. Good to see you. Visiting your Chamber of Commerce, $0. A phone script that will help you convert potential clients to actual clients, $0. The most expensive thing, honestly, I think on my list, if you have an office, well, yeah, office rent. Secondhand couch, I don't know, maybe that's gonna be less than $1,000. So when you sit down and say it's too expensive, I want you to literally create a budget. Come up with a dollar amount for what it would take to start your first day in business. Hey, Laura, glad you can make it. Then you can start your backwards planning. One of the things I talk about, and it's important, so let me just take about 2 minutes or less. If you see people in business, right? If you see me, right, you're thinking, okay, I want to be in business. It looks, why can't I do it? Everybody else is doing it. One of the things to remember, everybody that I know who started a successful business had a supportive partner. They had someone who supported them and kept their day job while, you're building your business. Having this financial bridge is security. It could be insurance. It could be just the ability to budget and know that you can pay the mortgage every month. That sort of peace of mind is invaluable, right? It's hard to start fighting all of these fears if you're afraid you're not going to be paying the electric bill. So if you are trying and failing, look at the support that you have in your life. If you are a solo person and you are just flying and you are doing amazing, then you know what? Let us support you. I want to celebrate you because it's freaking hard to do this by yourself. So when we look at the fear of finances, right? It's too expensive, all of those things. Even after you put this budget together, if you have a supportive partner, it makes it so much easier because that supportive partner, you need them to say, hey, good job, go for it. Not, are you sure? Are you sure? Is this really what you want to do? Those kind of doubting statements, remember what I said earlier, you don't want any negativity in this universe. If this is truly your dream, if this is truly what you want to do, you got to go for it. If your partner's not on board, where are they? I keep lots of earbuds, and I'm old school. I still have cables. You got to put your earbuds in, okay? Find people like this group to support you, to build you up. One of the best things I ever did when I was starting out in business, first of all, let me just say for the record, my husband's amazing. He's always been my fan. He's always made it to where it's super easy to make these kinds of decisions. But I joined a group called Business Networking International, BNI. And it was just filled with entrepreneurs, people who were starting their business. They were other fields. So, there were everything from salon owners to solo attorneys to construction folks. It was just so great to be surrounded by people who were in that same kind of scary boat that I was in. So if one of your barriers is having supportive people around you or a supportive partner or making these kinds of decisions and then getting second guessed, or maybe you just have a lot of toxic people around you, this is non-negotiable. You must go find a supportive group that meets in real time that you can sit and have coffee with or a beer. It's up to you. It's up to what time of day, right? But you have to have people in your life who can say, go for it, you can do this. All right, I'm going to review. We are breaking barriers in November. Breaking barriers. So we started with our fears, right? Fear number one, I'm shy, I'm an introvert, I can't do this. Find someone, find some person that you can ask for coffee. Set that as your goal this week. Doesn't matter who, somebody you admire, somebody who's doing what you want to do, somebody who's in a field that you want to be in, an author, a teacher, a speaker, podcaster, writer. Send them emails, bug them, get them to have coffee with you. I dare you. 2, fear. I'm great at starting things. I had someone actually tell me with a straight face, I'm more of an idea person. I let other people work out the details. I'm like, who does that? Right? You have to work out the details. So if your fear is you're great at starting, but you fail to finish, this is related, of course, to self-sabotage and analysis paralysis. You're going to be doing the Adlerian living as if. You're going to set up a DBA because it's only $10. You're going to buy a domain name because it's only $10. You're going to set up a social media professional account, get a Stripe account. You're going to clean up your act. You're going to organize your office. Clean out your car, for heaven's sakes. Do you still have summer clothes in your closet? Have you been outside? It's cold. Switch your closet around. Get organized. Get clothes in there that you have worn in the last 6 months. If it's been more than 6 months, throw it out, right? I went up a size in jeans. You can too, right? Give it away, give it away. Live like you are already achieving your dream goal. So if you imagine your dream life is being home when your kids are home, having quality time with your partner, watching the Astros lose, then you're probably going to have to put in some early mornings. Go ahead and start living like that. Feel what it feels like to set the alarm at 5 a.m., get 2 hours of work done, take a 15-hour nap in the middle of the day. It's not bad. In fact, there are some schedules. If you Google successful people schedules, there are so many configurations. I don't know. I can't give you names. But I read once where a guy worked 4 hours, slept for 2 hours, was awake for 4 hours, slept for 2 hours. We went to a hamburger place in Las Vegas called Wahlburgers. Danny Wahlberg, what were they? New Kids on the Block, but he's also an actor. His schedule is crazy. The guy gets up at 4. I think he works out, takes a nap, eats breakfast with his family, plays golf, takes another nap, gets up right? So you start living and organizing your schedule in a way that works for you and how you want to live when you're successful. Start ghosting toxic people, except for sick people and loved ones. Sick loved ones, right? They need you. All right, and then last but not least, you're going to make a budget. So why do we do this? Why do we do this Badass Business page? Why do we do this Badass Business 30/30? That's because we need you. You are too important to burn out, get in trouble, quit, get fired, give up your dream. Texas needs you. The world needs you. We have too many underserved areas. If you quit now, you'll never become a supervisor. If you quit supervising, we're going to have interns who can't get trained. If we have interns that can't get trained, we are still going to see those great big patches on the Texas map where there are no mental health supervisors. And that's just not okay. So if I can learn how to write backwards, right? There we go. Backwards plan your badass business goal. Check out the DIY, there we go. Check out the DIY mentoring program at katewalkertraining.com. You'll get this whole thing, worksheets included, plus 2 hours of talking to me if you want to. Because the most important thing is, remember, we don't quit. We can't afford to quit. We can't afford to lose you. So Check me out at the Texas Counseling Association Professional Growth Conference in Fort Worth, Texas. I will be doing the pre-conference workshop, refresher workshop with Dr. Leanne Salmonson, another rock star. Like I'm a rock star. No, I'm sitting at home in my flannel. No rocking here. I will also be presenting at 5 things every intern should know. If you want to reach out to me, Facebook is great. If you have any questions, you can email me at support@katewalkertraining.com. I think that's it. We have about 3 minutes to spare. Get back to your offices, go make some money, go get successful, earn yourself a sick day, put some money in your retirement plan, set aside some time to be with your loved ones, and have an amazing day. I will see you next week for next week's 30-30. All right? Bye, guys.